Good evening, all. I hope you had a good day, a good Monday. Golly, Candace isn't coming on till Wednesday, but holy moly, that video that she put out, sheesh, the world is not ready. They aren't ready. Oh my gosh, I got chilled. Jeez. Like I said, I actually made a video. I don't know where it ends. I don't. I don't know where the Charlie Kirk investigation ends. I don't know where it ends with me. But I'll tell you who does. God knows. And I know I'm on the right side of it. I can't speak on behalf of everybody else, but I know I am. I know Candace is. I know Baron is. I know there's millions of people that are on the right side of it, and then there's millions of people that are not. And it's sad to think of the numbers. There's a lot of people that will thrive on numbers, and so compare those numbers, right? It's sad. It's very sad. Today was a great day. I'm actually thoroughly enjoying work right now. I'm like in the zone. I'm in the zone. But, for me personally, I had a conversation with my coworker, and it was really enlightening to me. Sometimes when I have conversations with people, it opens up my own eyes. When I'm talking freely to people that are just being genuine with me, I can feel their genuineness. And we were talking about churches, and we were talking about, you go through a trauma with certain churches, depending on your experience at that church. And there's people that have had really horrific experiences in particular religions and particular churches. And it's sad. It's sad if you listen to their stories and what they've been through with pastors and all this stuff. And then you look at everything. Oh gosh, don't get me started with TPUSA. Focus. And so, yeah, it's sad. You go through different traumas of your life, whether that be in church, whether that be with your family, whether that be with your friends, your community, your government. There's just an abundance of trauma, whether you've been through it with Epstein and then, you go through all this stuff. So, yeah, it's sad. It's beyond sad. It's so sad that you can't even wrap your head around it. You can't even make sense of it. And I think they create it that way to where you can't make sense of it. And it's so gross and it's so gruesome that it's like, there's no way it could be possible. There's no way. It is actually possible. It's very possible, and it is happening. But something came to me because when I was baptized, and I was very much a part of a church, Barrett Badon's going live. I'm going to watch him when I get off this. But when I became a member and was very much a part of a church, and I was with my ex-husband at the time, and it was like my safety net to get through everything that I was kind of walking through in the marriage. And there's just so much untangled in that. And then I do intend to unpack, not to worry. Again, I'm only 41. I'm still young. But church and finding my faith was like my safety blanket during that season of my life. But in the midst of that, my previous friendships that I carried since I was younger, and then those that I created at the church and in Bible study, becoming a member, all this stuff, it became very much a part of my life. But like I told her in conversation today, I said it's unfortunate because until I kind of removed everybody from my life, I really didn't have the solid foundation in reference to my relationship with God and my love for God and his love for me and the connection that we have, on top of, like, I've always understood what Jesus Christ did on the cross and Christ is King. Like, I've always had a very strong understanding of that, but my relationship with both of them and the Holy Spirit and my Christ conscience really fired up after I kind of removed everybody from my life. And it was because I was surrounded by people that were very much, handling, siphoning, misguiding, manipulative, dishonest, disingenuous, things of that nature. Again, on the flip side of the coin, okay, I was very broken. All right. I had not healed. And I've always been a people pleaser. I've always been a peacemaker. I've always been that friend that's going to give 80% and receive 20. Okay. I was always going to be that girlfriend or that wife that took the blows, took the brunt of the jokes, was the brunt of the joke, and didn't always say anything because I was broken. I thought that was like the best a man could get. I thought that was normal based off my childhood. And that's a whole nother unraveling, right? And so until I cut everybody off, and this is what I told her, it was like so weird because October 2024, when I just needed a break from everyone in my life, I wanted to take a month to just kind of regroup and focus on myself because nothing was making sense. Conversations weren't making sense. I hated the way I felt. I had no idea what was right or left, or like, it just, nothing was making sense. And so I wanted to take a break from everyone in reference to communication. I just wanted to take a month to myself. And everybody in my life, my girlfriends, my best friends, colleagues, friendships I made at the company, everybody went sideways. It was a big deal. And I had no intentions on cutting off the relationship altogether. It ended up being that way because I just wanted to take time to myself. And that in itself was a truth moment for me, because it really kind of put things in perspective for me. Because I'm like, wow, you would think that you have people in your life that want to support you and encourage you to do whatever you need to do at that mere moment to heal, get your wits about you, process things, whatever. But no, I didn't receive none of that. Not from any of my best friends that I've been friends for years. Friends that I made at the church, my family, all of the above. Every single one of them. No page unturned there. I talk to no one anymore. And in reference to my family, my relationship with my family is very different. I love my family unconditionally. I do indeed. However, do I know they're unraveled in this in some way, shape, or form? Yeah, I do. But does that change my love for them? No. Am I saddened? Absolutely. Am I hurt? Yeah. Am I disheartened? Yeah. But it doesn't change my love for them. So I still love people. And I will always love people. But I do what I have to do to move forward for Amanda. But I'm never going to treat people the way that they treat me, whether you come into my space or not. And this is what frustrates me too. It's like when people know what they do to you, and they know what they're a part of, and they know what kind of operations or whatever, right? I'll never understand how you feel like you get a green light to add agony and discomfort and manipulation and psychological warfare and spiritual warfare, and get your, like, you go so far as you get the exes and all this. And furthermore, I'm like, were they involved the whole time? Who freaking knows? That would be a question for them. But it breaks my heart because I've always led with an unconditional heart, right? And it wasn't that I was, it's like a part of me knows that I was codependent in different ways, and I healed through that. But I always saw the best in people. I always wanted to see the best in people. And so there's that green gray area where it's like seeing the best in people and being codependent, I've always just wanted, I just always assumed people were as genuine and loving as I am. And now I realize that that's not the case, especially with honeypots and handlers. And when you find yourself on the fence of being surrounded by people or being in relationships with people and you feel less than what you are, you have to ask yourself why. Because there's a reason why. We've been conditioned to normalize this, and it's not normal. It's not normal behavior. People shouldn't make